Hi, this is Dan Ferrisi, editor of Sound and Communications Magazine, joined by Jim Schanz, Vice President of Global Sales for Integrated Systems with Shure. Thank you for joining me, Jim.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
The topic of conversation here, as it is probably in every household and office around the world today, is the COVID-19 crisis and how the commercial AV industry, and in particular in this case, Shure, is coming to terms with it, hoping to thrive through it, and then all of us as an industry in commercial AV coming together and having each other's backs. My first question really relates specifically to Shure. How have mandatory closures and stay-at-home orders affected business operations for all of your staff in Illinois and elsewhere?
Good question, Dan. Like most businesses, it's been quite the adjustment for us. One of our major regional distribution centers is based here in Illinois. And when Governor Pritzker issued the shelter-in-place order, we had to figure out how to quickly adjust to these new orders. And what we did is obviously looking at our associate population as being the top priority for their safety. We arranged work from home options for most of them. Many of us were already kind of in a position to be able to work from home. However, for some associates, who physically needed to be in the facilities, either for logistics purposes or service repair, we have implemented social distancing protocols to help keep our business functioning as needed. So we're continuing to ship products, provide service and support for our customers, and we've actually increased the frequency of our training sessions, which I understand seems to be a trend out there right now. A lot of folks around the country and around the world are working from home and maybe unable to go on job sites and so forth. So we are looking to increase the frequency of our training sessions from our Shure Audio Institute. We were doing sessions monthly, and now we've moved them to weekly, so our customers can continue to stay updated.
Now, you had mentioned that shipping is still underway. Have you run into any kind of supply chain issues with everything kind of being locked down, whether it's from foreign countries or domestic manufacturing, domestic shipping? Have you run into any kind of issues where people who are looking for Shure products, wanting Shure products, are not able to get them, or are you having no issues on that front?
Thankfully, we haven't had many issues on that front. With the coronavirus seeming to start or at least be focused in Asia and China in particular, we do have manufacturing plant in China, and we do obviously have a lot of suppliers that are based in China. But we had some preparations in place prior to that, and we've worked very closely with our suppliers and with our manufacturing that we've only had very, very minor hiccups thus far. But with news changing daily, we're hoping to keep on top of it. But our commodities group and our operations and logistics team have been on top of it from the get-go and continue to be.
Shure is obviously a well-respected, well-known name in the commercial AV industry, the commercial AV family. Do you have any words of wisdom, words of advice, or commentary for your fellow commercial AV professionals, whether they're manufacturers, distributors, integrators, consultants, design engineers, people in the commercial AV family who are kind of struggling through this situation, worried about a recession, worried about economic turmoil? What is Shure's stance in terms of trying to give some encouragement to the commercial AV family?
Well, I think, the big message is that we're all in this together. Obviously, all of the different functions, whether manufacturer, integrator, consultant, end client, et cetera, we all rely on each other, and it's really important that we're there for each other during this time. The industry has really always had to adapt to some sort of change, and we're going to have to adapt again. We've been around for 95 years, and we've been through a bunch of stuff, as I'm sure a lot of our other partners have. But we've always relied on our associates pretty much to get us through it. And fortunately, we've invested in times when many others are unable to invest because we've taken a conservative approach throughout these 95 years. And the more that you focus on your associates and taking care of your associates and taking care of your core competencies, I think you'll come out the other end better than when you got into it. but we're committed to supporting our customers through this difficult time and our partners in any way we can, and obviously our communities. Shure just recently donated thousands of N95 masks to one of the local hospitals in Chicagoland, and we're continuing to look for ways to help out our community as well.
As someone who's been covering and reporting on the industry for about 15 years, I know Shure is a company that is very much bound to its core values, its company core values and ethos. So it's good to know, as always, that you're trying to do as much as you can organizationally to help the industry and help society.
Absolutely. Again, we've been around 95 years and we don't intend to go anywhere. And we know that times will get tough and we'll all be through this again at some point. I think, the day-to-day business, the day-to-day trends may change, but again, I think we'll come out of this closer to our partners, closer to the industry, and we'll be able to move forward together.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Jim. I really appreciate you taking the time during what I'm sure is a crazy period, as it is for all of us. But thank you for lending Shure's perspective. I appreciate it. Jim Schanz with Shure. This is Dan Ferrisi with Sound and Communications Magazine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.